That's what I want to hear. Once again, you hardy, crazy folks have come together at this ungodly hour to remember and honor the memories of those hardy San Franciscans who survived being tossed from their beds 108 years ago this morning at 5:12 or 5:11 or 5:13, depending on which native tells the tale. Now, 108 years ago, powerful seismic waves roared across the prosperous city of San Francisco. Experts today estimate that the colossal earthquake was around 7.9 on the modern magnitude scale. By the end of the first day, the city by the bay would suffer 26 aftershocks and would succumb to a raging inferno that would show no mercy to its bewildered citizens for 74 hours. Now, right now, I would like to give you a moment-by-moment description of what happened to our city and its citizens on this morning 108 years ago. Now, this is not some boring history, ladies and gentlemen, but it's very real, and it can and will happen again. Later on, I'll introduce to you some of your fellow San Franciscans who work every day, not just today, April 18th or October 17th, as you well remember, Loma Prieta, to make sure we all will be survivors of the inevitable next big one. Wednesday, April 18th, 1906. It's morning time. It's 5:12. A great foreshock is felt throughout the San Francisco Bay Area. Some 20 to 25 seconds later, San Francisco residents are awakened by a tremor 45 to 60 seconds long, measuring 7.9, as we mentioned, on the modern magnitude scale. The first casualties from the massive quake occur when low-rent tenements in the south of Market District collapse. Hundreds are killed as the liquefied ground swallows their homes. More victims are added to the death toll as collapsed structures immediately catch fire and prevent rescue attempts. Tragically, the man the city would need to fight the most in this fire, Fire Chief Dennis T. Sullivan, is fatally wounded during the earthquake. He would die 4 days later when a spire tower of the California Hotel collapses onto his fire station home. Now, due to severe earthquake damage, telephone and telegraph communication within the city is impossible. A few messages are sent around the world via the Pacific cable before that time, and that too fails. 6 a.m., April 18th, 1906. San Francisco Mayor Eugene Schmitz is unaware of the severity of the quake until anxious city officials arrive at his door. He leaves the safety of his home and heads downtown to see for himself the enormous scale of this disaster. 6:30 a.m., all available troops are ordered to report to the mayor at the Hall of Justice. Some 1,700 soldiers come to the aid of both residents and firefighters. 8:14 a.m., a major aftershock strikes and causes many of the damaged buildings still standing to collapse. Throughout the day, the city suffers 26 aftershocks, each one slowing the already overstretched rescue effort. Fires rage and spread throughout the city. They are not stopped until 74 hours later. Many of San Francisco's finest buildings collapse under the firestorms. Firefighters begin dynamiting buildings to create fire breaks. 1 p.m. in the afternoon on April 18th, the temporary hospital set outside City Hall is abandoned due to the impending fire break. The sick and injured are forced to evacuate to temporary camps throughout the city and parks on the edge of town. At 3 p.m. that afternoon, hearing reports of looting in the streets, Mayor Schmitz orders a shoot-to-kill proclamation against any looters. Ooh. 8 p.m. in the evening, hopes of saving downtown are dashed as a new blaze breaks out and shifting winds push the fires toward the heart of the city. 9 p.m., firefighters make a stand at Union Square on Powell Street, but the fire breaches the battle line and continues relentlessly up Nob Hill. Thursday, April 19th, 1906, 2 a.m., California Governor George Pardee arrives in Oakland to assess the damage. San Francisco's three main newspapers, The Call, The Chronicle, and Examiner, borrowed the presses from an Oakland paper to print a special joint edition. 6 p.m. on Thursday, April 19th, responding to a wireless telegraph message, the USS Chicago arrives in San Francisco Bay to help in the relief efforts. The Great Fire reaches Van Ness Avenue, which is 125 feet wide. Facing the decision to blow his city to pieces or watch it burn, Mayor Schmitz finally agrees to let the Army create a massive fire break in the hopes it can stop the raging inferno. This decision means abandoning dozens of city blocks, many of them filled with mansions, to the fire. The rich spectators who have spent the day watching the fires from atop Nob Hill finally realize their homes won't be saved and will soon burn. Friday, April 20th, 1906, 5 a.m., the fire break at Van Ness finally holds and the westward progression of the inferno was halted. Mayor Schmitz makes an announcement proclaiming the victory in the Battle of Van Ness. 18 seamen from the USS Chicago rescued 20,000 refugees in unprecedented evacuation by sea. Saturday, April 21st, 7:15 a.m. After all the flames have finally been extinguished, Mayor Schmitz officially declares the fire over. Sunday, April 22nd, 1906, cable cars beginning to run again on Market Street. Now today, April 18th, 2014, today no one knows when the next great quake will come, but San Francisco is doomed to relive the horrific events of 1906 because the San Andreas Fault never rests. It may strike tomorrow or not for 100 years, but it might just strike as the city sleeps tonight. Thank you very much. And now, before we move on, I think it's very appropriate to have a proclamation read by the city's own Emperor Norton. Emperor, please welcome Emperor Norton, please.
Thank you, thank you. Whereas today marks the 108th anniversary of the great San Francisco earthquake and fire, the defining moment in our city's history. And whereas we are gathered in the presence of our city's dignitaries and honor the survivors of that most horrible day, therefore be it resolved that we, Norton I, by grace of God, Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico, do hereby declare and proclaim this 18th day of April 2014, the 155th year of our reign, to be Earthquake Remembrance Day throughout the realm, and therefore order and direct all citizens of the empire to prepare for the next great temblor, which will most assuredly occur.
Ladies and gentlemen, Emperor Norton. Yes. And now we have a very special announcement and a very, very special thing that our great Donna Ewald Huggins has to say. Would you please welcome the fabulous Donna Ewald Huggins? Let's hear it for her. She has a tremendous historical society announcement to make.
Well, you know I'm really Lily Coit. And for 170 years old, I look pretty darn good, don't you think? Thank you. Thank you. I just want to acknowledge Mrs. Sapienza, who is here today somewhere. Where are you? There you are. And thank you for being here. I know we lost Leo this year. Thank you for being here to remember Taryn, who kept this going for so many years. And I want to acknowledge the guardians of the city. We love them, and we painted the two twin silver giants, the little hydrants, yesterday, so go visit those. And a quick announcement, 100th anniversary of the Panama Pacific Exposition next year. There's going to be many, many civic events, and we want you to participate, so keep your eyes open for that. Also, the 100th anniversary of City Hall and the Civic Center. Now, there's my silver boots from yesterday. Woo! So have a wonderful time. Thank you, Bob. See you soon.
Lily Coit. I should have known her real name. Donna Ewald Huggins as Lily Coit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first year since the commemoration began in 1919 that survivors cannot join us at Lotta's Fountain. For years, the stars of the anniversary show were men and women who had lived through the 1906 disaster, earthquake survivors grown old and bent with age. Now there are only two. We send our best wishes to Ruth Newman, who is 112, and William Del Monte, who is 108. Let's hear it for them. Now, before we bring up our celebrities, which of course include the mayor, the fire chief, the police chief, and hopefully the Honorable Willie L. Brown, I want to just quickly go through a editorial that our own Jay Johnson of the Chronicle wrote about Quake Day just last week. After the earth convulsed violently, the sky above San Francisco caught fire. It was 100 years ago on Wednesday, April 18th, 1906, starting at 5:11 a.m. when everything changed. The monster 45-second earthquake plus aftershocks and the 3-day firestorm that followed destroyed most of the city, known as the Paris of the West. Untold thousands were left homeless, Uncounted hundreds died. Terrified residents fled eastward to Oakland or farther into their families to the Midwest and the East. The Italian Enrico Caruso, the most celebrated operatic tenor of his day, was dumped from his bed to the Palace Hotel and was so scared that he vowed never to return. He did not. But enough hardy San Franciscans stayed to roll up their sleeves and get it done and get what done that needed to be done. At the end of the 1936 movie, San Francisco, a survivor of the quake declares, "We'll build a new San Francisco," and that's what's happened. A ceremony each year at Lotta's Fountain right here on Market Street honors the many who perished that day. It also celebrates those who survived and stuck out the many difficult days that followed, keeping the faith, doing the work that gave us the San Francisco we know. Although we have no actual survivors expected to show up, the question comes up, why are we still doing this? Ask the hundreds of people who come out like you. Give yourselves a hand for being here this morning. To gather here at the monument, stare up at the tall buildings in the dark and wonder what it was like when the whole city was falling down and on fire. If you ask Fire Chief Joanne Hayes White and the crew at the City Department of Emergency Management, who show up every year with the message, "This will happen again," is everybody prepared? And ask the young people who are starting to show up a little confused and bleary-eyed, possibly thinking about the past and their future. This is why people keep doing this, because everybody here, residents of San Francisco and the Bay Area, are the survivors now. They are the ones who ride out the tremors and jolts of everyday life, and they are the ones who'll be there to help when, not if, the next big one comes to call. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin our celebration this morning as we welcome the survivor families. And of course, here to give us an opening little address, would you please welcome our fabulous mayor, Mayor Ed Lee. Let's hear it for Mayor Ed. Good to see you, Ed. Good to see you, pal.
Good morning, everyone. Wow, this is what a whole crowd of 108-year-old people look like. Well, I had to promise Anita breakfast this morning, so she got up here as well, and we all wanted to join you in course a tribute, but also a reminder. We're always ready. But we look at the 1906 earthquake as part of all of our history. Every neighborhood of the city needs to understand what occurred and what people did and didn't do, what we had and didn't have at the time. Because we learn from those events. We learn from every event that has affected the city's history. So I want to say thank you for making sure everybody understands what this event is. Of course, we celebrate the lives of wonderful people who have been here. I'm so sorry that we don't have survivors here this morning. That's been one of the most enjoyable parts of it. I was wondering if I was going to see Ruth Newman, who's 112 years old. Only people who can live in Pebble Beach can be 112 years old. But I wanted to be here also to tell you that we are ready. And thanks to the fire chief, our police chief, our public works, all of the agencies working together, we continue to practice. Just a few weeks ago, we were practicing for a tsunami here in San Francisco and a 9.6 earthquake, going through what we would do, real events that we need to make sure we practice and practice over again. Because while we may fear there may be an earthquake, we don't fear what we will do in the aftermath. We've got to keep this city together, united all around the things that we do. That's why we have a $400 million earthquake safety bond this June. We're going to continue reinvesting in our high-pressured water system, make sure our firehouses and our police stations are seismically safe. We also have some things that we need to do to get the agencies out of the Hall of Justice and into seismically safe facilities. This is all part of the $400 million bond. It complements the one we did back in 2010. We continue every 4 years to reinvest. So we're ready. I'm ready. Are you all ready? All right. All right. Well, thank you again very much. And again, I want to just say thanks to the chief, thanks to our Department of Emergency Management. They're using social media. Anybody use Alert SF yet? How about Nextdoor? Nextdoor.org. That's our new social media. And we're going to be using all of that just to communicate. We have a whole generation of people here in the city that have yet to learn what it is to go through one of these. So we're going to educate them. We're going to be a strong NERT program. We're going to train a lot of people with CPR. Every single neighborhood, we've got all that covered. Again, I want to thank all the volunteers today There are so many of you who come to celebrate, to remember, and I want to just thank everybody continuing to make this city strong and ready. Thank you very much. Happy 1906 celebration. Bob? All right.
Mayor Lee, let's hear it for him. Let's go. Come on. Before we bring up some more of our city heavyweights here, I want to mention just a few people who you will be hearing from. Hopefully former Mayor Willie Brown, our Fire Chief Joanne Hayes-White in just a few seconds here. Police Chief Greg Sears here. Executive Director of Emergency Management Ann Cronenberg. And a special welcome to the 2014 Survivor Award honorary survivor Lee Housekeeper, who has been putting the commemoration on for 25 years. Let's hear it for him. We mentioned, of course, earlier, Donna Lily Coit-Huggins, who's been keeping Lily alive for just as long, and special honoree Ron Conway for his generous support for the commemoration activities, helping to underwrite things. Let's give Ron a nice hand. And while I'm thinking about it, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to the other folks who will not let the 1906 earthquake and fire fade into history. Rodrigo Santos, Scott Sullivan Foundation, retired Captain Al Casiato, and the Guardians of the City. Dave Eberly from the Department of Emergency Management, the San Francisco Chronicle, fabulous John's Grill up the street here, a great place. Lefty O'Doul's will be going afterwards for Bloody Marys as true San Franciscans, drinking at 5:30 in the morning. Thank you. Ron Ross and the San Francisco History Association. Wilkes Bashford and the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. We did a great thing yesterday at John's Grill. The American Red Cross, let's hear it for them. And the Neighborhood Emergency Response Team, which is NERT. And now I'd like to welcome some more of our great city leaders. Would you please welcome our esteemed fire chief, a terrific person, a great friend of mine. Please welcome Chief Joanne Hayes-White, everybody. Let's hear it for her. And the applause has to last till she gets here. Fire Chief Joanne Hayes-White.
How are you, Bob? Good to see you, pal. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming out. It inspires me each year. Everyone's out here so early in the morning. Thank you to Bob Sarlott, native San Franciscan, for being here. We had a celebration yesterday at John's Grill. It's a great time to preserve our important history here in San Francisco. And we take this opportunity to not only commemorate what happened 108 years ago, but really to celebrate. Today's about celebrating the great resiliency and resolve of our city to literally rise from the ashes. We want to remember those that lost their lives in 1906 and commit to being prepared for the next emergency. We do our jobs every day here in San Francisco, police, fire, Department of Emergency Management. But we count on you, and particularly in disasters, in large-scale emergencies, to be our partners, to be prepared. And there's no reason you can't be. There's great websites. The DEM just put up a SF72 website. It's redone from their 72hours.org. It tells you all that you need to do to be prepared, to be self-sufficient for 72 to 96 hours. San Francisco Fire Department, and I'm sure there are some members here from our NERT team, Neighborhood Emergency Response Team. We have a few people here, so that's very important. But like I said, I'm inspired to see so many of you out here. It's a great city to live in. I'm hugely proud of the fact that I'm born and raised here in the city and continue to serve as your fire chief. It's an honor. I'd like to acknowledge the president of our Fire Commission, Steve Nicasio, all the men and women that do the great work every day in the San Francisco Fire Department, and to again say thank you for coming out and celebrating our rich history. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you very much. Chief Joanne Hayes-White, let's hear it for her. Great job. I had the privilege of coaching her son in basketball over at St. Stephen's. Thank you very much. All right. City boy talk. All right. Another great native is here this morning. He's our police chief and does a great job. A very good friend. Would you please welcome our police chief, the fabulous Greg Sir, everybody. Let's hear it for him.
Good morning. This is so exciting to be out here with everybody. Thank you so much for getting up. It's critical, as always, to be prepared, as the chief said and the mayor said. We know it's going to happen, and we continue to prepare, even if it's just remembering this event and all those people that went before us, the city fathers and mothers that did all the planning to have the great water system we have when they swore that the city would never burn down again. I know Bob and I talk about it all the time. Does he have like the best voice in the whole world? It appears at 5 o'clock in the morning, everybody has a Sarlot voice. So I do too. Exactly. So anyway, again, just thank you so much for coming out. Please continue to help us out when it comes to when we ask for things to keep even better prepared. I know DEM does an unbelievable job, and we just so appreciate the support. I know we were out Saturday with a big NERT training, and I mean, there were 1,000 people over at the school over in the Mission, training and training and training. We all revert back to that, and then I'm sure everybody's going to buddy up, and we'll keep the city as safe as anywhere else, okay? So, again, good morning. It's early, and I'm going to give it back to Mr. Sarlot.
All right, thank you. Fire Chief, Police Chief Greg Sir. How's everybody doing this morning, okay? This is great. By the way, I feel like Ed Sullivan. Is there anybody else back there? Is Ann Cronenberg here? Is Ann Cronenberg here, by the way? Is Willie Lewis Brown here? I'll pretend I'm Willie Brown. I am delighted. That's how he begins every speech. I do have here a great proclamation I'd like to read from the state of California, from the Senate, on the 108th San Francisco Great Earthquake and Fire Commemoration. This is from Mark Leno. Congratulations on the occasion of the 108th Annual San Francisco Great Earthquake and Fire Commemoration at Lotta's Fountain. I welcome the survivors, civic leaders, public safety workers, community members, and visitors who have gathered to remember the big one and plan for the next one. This traditional event offers an opportunity to celebrate, reflect, see old friends, and meet new ones. It is through the continued commitment of many people that this festive and important event will continue for many years to come. Signed, Senator from the 11th District, Mark Leno. Let's hear it from Mark. He's a great guy. He does a nice job. All right. Let's see. I have to stall for 2 minutes. Okay, fantastic. It is a great day in San Francisco. In just a minute here, we are going to ask for a moment of silence. This happens at 5:11, and it's about 5:09 right now. So let's just talk amongst ourselves for just a few minutes. What's that? I'm a great vamper, thank you. How about I stand for Dave Eberly, looking fantastic. Let's get a good look at Dave's outfit, shall we?
Let's not.
Dave Eberly, thank you. A fake fireman. Good to see him. Okay, good. But actually, this is coming up in just... Oh, good. She is here. Good. This is, I want to know what Ann's title is exactly what, Dave? Executive Director of the Department of Emergency Management. Would you please welcome the fabulous Ann Cronenberg. Let's hear it for Ann. And again, that applause is supposed to wait till she gets here. The fabulous Ann Cronenberg, everybody. I'm in a stall mode here. We're just...
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out for the 108th anniversary of 1906 earthquake. You know, we take this opportunity to remember. We remember those people in San Francisco in 1906 who responded. It was the community. It was the community who came out, and it's the community spirit that keeps San Francisco resilient. Thank you.
I was just hoping for one more minute out of Ann there, but that's okay. It's kind of my impression of John Miller. Yeah. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Yeah. You can only do John Miller at this early in the morning. You know, he has a voice like Lou Rawls. Anyway, I'm going to say it's 5:11. What the heck? It's time. It's close enough. It's time to ask now for a moment of silence now to remember those who perished and those who survived to rebuild San Francisco. So let's do that right now. A moment of silence starting right now. Thank you very much. Let's hear it for those people who went through all that they went through in 1906. And our survivors are here. Right now, it is my pleasure to bring back to the stage the mayor and the chief to hang the wreath. Now, we're going to dedicate this wreath. Gentlemen, can we get you up here to do this? Gentlemen and ladies? All right. We're going to hang the wreath. I'm not even sure where it is. Is it this one? we're going to dedicate the wreath to the last president of San Francisco's South of Market Boys, Leo Sapienza, who passed away this year. Leo and his late daughter, Taryn, together hung a wreath on this fountain for over 50 years. We are all very grateful to the Sapienza family who are here for their family's dedication to remembering those who perished and honoring those who rebuilt San Francisco from the ashes.
He's the designated.
You know what? Sometimes they hook it on like that. There you go. Perfect. Yeah.
Put it back where you have it and tuck it in. There you go.
Perfect.
One job.
I know. How about a nice hand for the very tall Patrick Otolini, ladies and gentlemen. Nice going. Oh, yes, now it's time. I took out my old cocktail napkin here, and this contains the words of San Francisco. Who's going to help me sing this? Donna, you going to help me do this? All right. You remember the beginning? Remember the beginning part? What key?
How many people remember the beginning?
It's the key of Z. Let's all do it in the key of Z. You want to start out? Should we do it?
Okay.
It only takes a tiny corner of this great big world to make a place you love. My home upon the hill, I find I love you still. I've been away, but now I'm back to tell you, San Francisco, open your golden gate. You let no stranger wait outside your door. San Francisco, here is your wandering one. Say that I'll wander no more. Other places only make me love you best. Tell me you're the heart of all the Golden West. San Francisco, welcome me home again. I'm coming home to go roaming no more. Thank you, Lily Coit. All right, now, here it is. It's 5:15. I'd like to invite everyone now to go to 20th and Church to the Golden Hydrant painting. And also, everyone, you can walk directly to Lefty O'Doul's. That's right, on your mark, get set, go for the 6 a.m. start of the annual Survivor Bloody Mary Breakfast, where we will all meet up in just a few minutes. Again, thank you, San Francisco, and another great celebration. They're opening at 5:30. Not serving till 6. Thank you. Nobody wants to flaunt the law. All right. For those of you who brought a flask, you can start in already. We'll see you up at Lefty's at 6, and thank you, San Francisco. Another nice hand for all of our great civic leaders who brave the cold.